Okay, so this is the homework for lesson 3.2.6. Remember, as I mentioned in class, this is optional. So if you choose to do it, you will get extra credit. If you choose not to do it, you won't be penalized for not having this. Okay. All right. So let me go through all the problems and see if you want to follow along with this. So on the first problem here, it says use your relationship in the diagram at the right to solve for x and y. Justify your solutions. So again, in pictures like this, oftentimes you have to solve for things that are not being asked of you, and then you can solve for things that are being asked of you. All right. So what I see here is I see that the x and this angle are corresponding angles because I see the parallel lines and transversal, but I don't know what that angle is. What I do know is then this angle that I marked and 43 make a linear pair. So I actually need to first solve for that angle that's not being asked of me. So I take 180 minus 43. I get 137, and that makes this 137, hence x is also 137. Okay, so I can go ahead and say, all right, so x is 137. Okay, what about y? Well, if I take a quick look, I see that y, oh, sorry, that is huge. Let me back it up. I see that y is in this triangle. Okay, so I need one more angle to help me solve for y. Well, what do I know? I know that 137 and this angle here makes 180. Well, I already know what angle that is. That is 43 because of a couple things. Number one, they are linear pairs. A second way to look at it is you have vertical angles here, so that's also 43. And then corresponding again, that's also 43. So there's many, many ways to tackle this. Okay, so now 61 plus 43 plus y must equal to 180 because they make a triangle. So that's 104 plus y equals 180. Y must equal to 76 degrees. Okay, and so those two are my answers. All right, moving on. The area of the triangle below, or next to it, is 25 square units. Find the value of h, then find the perimeter of the entire triangle. Show all your work. Okay, so first of all, in order to find area of a triangle, you need base times height. Here I have my base and I have my height. Okay, so I know that area equals base times height. I know that area is 25. Oh, sorry, 1/2 base times height. Apologies. I forgot my 1/2. Okay, so area equals 1/2 base times height. So 1/2 base is 6 plus 4. It's the entire thing on the bottom. So it's 10 times h. All right, so that's 25 equals 5 times h. H equals 5. So h equals 5. Okay, so find the value of h. Good. Now find the perimeter of the entire triangle. So you need to figure out what the others, the other two slants are, and that's why they cut it like this, because they're trying to show you that you have two right triangles here. Okay, so first right triangle, I'm going to work on this side here. That's a hypotenuse. So I get 5 squared plus 6 squared equals c squared. 25 plus 36 equals c squared. 61 equals c squared. C is root 61. Okay, now I got the other side. This side has another hypotenuse. So 4 squared plus 5 squared equals c squared. 16 plus 25 equals c squared. 41 equals c squared. Root 41 equals c. So my perimeter is actually going to be not very nicely looking. It is root 61 plus root 41 plus 10, right? So again, if you were using a calculator to kind of estimate how much this is, I would go root 61 plus root 41 plus 10. So it's about 24.21. Okay? All right, so that's the way to find the perimeter of that one. Oops, apologies. I don't know why it's not showing up. Give me a minute here. Sometimes when I zoom in and zoom out, it does weird things to me. So give me a second here. Okay, great. And again, so hopefully you see, I added up all the units around this triangle, and I got an approximation of 24.21 for the perimeter. Okay. Next problem. You help out a bowling alley on weekends. One of the arcade games has a bin filled with stuffed animals. Ooh, my favorite. A robotic arm randomly grabs a stuffed animal as a prize for the player. You are in charge of filling the bin. Okay, let's see what we're putting in there. You are told that the probability of getting a stuffed giraffe today is 2/5. If there are 28 giraffes in the bin, what is the total number of stuffed animal in the bin? Okay, so This is a ratio problem. You have the probability of 2 giraffe out of 5 total. So 2 giraffe out of 5 total. Right? I'm gonna put a little G and a T there to remind you 2 is for the giraffe, 5 is the total. Now I want to put 28 giraffes in there. How many total do I have? So that's the T you're looking for. Okay. All right. So I can cross multiply, or I can do my multiplication. Up to you. I think I'm gonna stick with the multiplication. 2 times 14 gives me the 28. So 5 times 14 as well will give me 70. Okay. So hold on a second. It's not mirroring again. I'm having a lot of problems with this. Okay. I'm sure the Wi-Fi is just being a little fickle right now, so it's okay. All right, so you see I did 5 times 14, and so that means my total is 70. So total of 70 stuffed animals. Okay. All right, the next weekend you arrive to find a bin containing 22 unicorns, 8 gorillas, 13 striped fish, and 15 elephants. A shipment of stuffed whale arrives. What is the probability of getting a sea animal, whale, or fish if you have 17 whales to that bin? Express the probability as a percent. So first thing you want to figure out is how many total animals do we have. So 22 and 8, that's 30. And then plus 13 plus 15 plus 17, okay? So 30 plus 13 plus 15 plus 17, I have a total of 75. So total of 75. A whale or a fish, which one's a whale? A whale is here, 17 whale, and striped fish is right here. So that is a total of 30. 30 out of 75, okay? So you can reduce it down. So this is the probability of getting a whale animal. You should reduce it down. So dividing by 6, you get divided by 5. Apologies. So if I reduce by 5, because they're, one's 30 on top, one's 75 on the bottom. If I divide by 5, I get 6 out of 15, and I notice I can reduce again. So 2/5. So if I divide this out on my calculator, 2 divided by 5, I get 0.4. So that's 40%. Well, it's a pretty good chance, almost half, right? Okay. You're told the probability of selecting a stuffed alligator needs to be 5%. One weekend you arrive to find there are exactly 3 alligators left. How many total animals should be there to maintain the probability of 5% for the alligator? So first thing you want to do is change the 5% into a fraction. That way you can create ratios again. 5%, that's 5 out of 100. So 5 out of 100, if we reduce that down, it's 1 out of 20. Okay, now I go 1 out of 20 equals how many alligators? 3 alligators out of how many total there should be in the bin? Ooh, another multiplication problem. So if I multiply by 3, that means the total should be 60. So 60 total animals. Okay. So probability is really nice, but it also allows us to set up these ratios that helps us figure out how many I should have versus how many I should have in total. Okay. All right. Next one is an algebra review. We are writing a linear equation that represents each situation. So first thing it says, write an equation for the line on the right. So remember, this is y equals mx plus b. I need to look for slope. I need to look for y-intercept. I see my y-intercept is here at 0,4. What about my slope? Slope is rise over run. So down 1, right 2. So down 1, right 2, negative 1/2. So my equation is y equals negative 1/2 x plus 4. Write a line perpendicular to the line to the right and passing through this new point. So remind yourself that the perpendicular slope is opposite reciprocal. So perpendicular slope. So before it was negative, now this is going to be positive, and it was 1/2. Reciprocal will be 2. Don't forget, this is your point. This is x1, y1. So we had that really awesome formula from a couple of homeworks back. You go y minus y1, right, equals m times x minus your x1. Okay, so you should clean this up, right? Clean this up, you get y plus 3 equals 2 times x plus 1. if you want to go further, because this is practice, right? So y plus 3 equals 2x plus 2. So really y equals 2x minus 1 will be the perpendicular line. And you can check, right? You can check and see if you are right. So let's see, 2x minus 1, that makes this line right here, minus 1, and a slope of up 2, right 1, up 2, right 1, up 2, right 1. So my graph is going right here, okay? And you can check and see if that's 90 degrees, but most importantly, does that go through -1, -3? -1, -3, yep, that would be this point right here. This is -1, -3. So this is the perfect answer. Okay. All right, next one says, this is a totally different problem now. An equation of a line passing through the points 4, 3, and -1, 1. So anytime you're writing an equation, no matter if you're using the slope-intercept or point slope, you need slope. So let's find slope first, right? So formula for slope is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So slope is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. That gives me -2 over -5, so 2 over 5. Now you can just pick any of the point. I'm giving you 2 points. Pick one of the point to be the point you want to use in your point slope. For me, I usually choose the one that doesn't have the negative, so those are my x1, y1. Zoom in just a little bit for you. So my equation is now going to look like y minus 3 equals my slope of 2/5, and then x minus my x value of 4. Okay. All right. In the interest of time and a lack of space, I'm going to leave it like so. This is actually a very valid form of the equation. Okay. All right. Next one. At a concert, elite parking charges $15 for the first hour and $7 for each additional hours of parking. Write the equations to represent the cost for parking T hours. Okay. So the cost of parking T hours, you are charged $15 first, then, right? And is plus $7 for each additional hour. So every hour you go, so multiplying the T, right? Now, be careful. We are not multiplying by T because your first hour was already taken care of here. So it's really T minus 1 here. All right. So think about it. Think about what this means, right? Think about if this makes sense to you. If you park there for 1 hour, how much would it cost you? $15. Park there for 2 hours, it's now going to cost you $22 because it's 15 plus 7, right? 3 hours is going to be 15 plus 14, which is 29, right? Because it's now 2. So notice how this one, oops, apologies. I never know what to do here. Okay, never mind. So what do I do here? I'm trying to erase this to show you a pattern. This is really 15 plus 7 equals 22, right? So again, it's trying to show you that the first hour already got taken care of. So this is hour 1. This is hour 1 plus another second hour. This is hour 1 and then 2 more hours. So notice how this number that you multiply is always 1 less than your total number of hours. So there's 1 hour, 2 hour, 3 hours. So that's why we have that T minus 1. Okay? All right. Okay. So let's see. There you go. All right. Beautiful. Next problem. Patty lives 20 miles northeast of Matt. All right. So there's this guide here for you. Okay. So let's see if we can figure out the problem here. So Patty lives 20 miles northeast. So northeast is this direction. So that means Matt is here and Patty lives 20 miles. Oops. Not 20. That's Patty, and that's 20 miles. Okay. Simone lives 15 miles due south of Patty. So Simone is 15 miles south. Okay, I'm going to move my number so I have enough space. Okay, Simone is 15 miles south. So this is Simone, so 15 miles. If Matt lives due west of Simone, which my picture works, Matt is on the west side of Simone, right? Approximately how many miles does he live from Simone? So I am looking for how far these two are. That's what I'm looking for. Okay, now beautiful. Why is this beautiful? Because of the directions. We know this is 90-degree angle. So we can use our good friend Pythagoras, right? Unfortunately, don't forget though, this is now your hypotenuse. So your setup should be x squared plus 15 squared equals 20 squared. X squared plus 225 equals 400. x squared, subtract 225. So 400 minus 225 from both sides is 175. X is root 175. And because it's a word problem, you typically want to round your answer because root 175 doesn't really help us. So he lives about 13.23 miles away. Okay, and that will answer your question. Okay. All right. Last but not least, a sequence of transformation that demonstrates shape ABCD is similar to WXYZ. Remember what we always do? We always mark the angles, right? So A and W, B and X, C and Y, D and Z. Okay, so notice how this shape got turned, right? It rotated and it slid over and it got bigger. So, lots of things happened. So it had a rotation, had a translation, and it had dilation. So it turned, it moved, it got bigger. So rotation, translation, dilation. Okay, now let's see who pairs with whom. So I start with 3. 3 is between 1 arc and 2 tick marks, so that matches with Y. So 3 over Y equals, next one, 6. 6 is between 1 and 2 marks, so 1 and 2 tick marks right here, over 15. And then BC is 8.4, and that's 21. And then Z is paired with 24. Okay, so you have a lot of options here. What I would do personally, first of all, I would reduce down the 6 over 15. So I reduce this to 2 over 5, so it's a lot easier to work with. And then that's actually the one I'm going to work with all the other fractions. Since they're all equal, I can pick and choose which ones I want to use. So I'm going to solve for this one first and set this equal 3 over Y. Cross multiply. I get 2Y equals 15, so Y equals 7.5, right? 7.5. Now I'm going to use this one and this this fraction, well, the reduced one. So 2/5 equals Z over 24. Again, I can't use multiplication, so I'm going to cross multiply. 2 times 24 is 48 equals 5Z. 48 divided by 5 gives me 9.6. So Z is 9.6. Okay. All right. Remember, this is an optional homework. If you choose to do it, great, fantastic. Don't forget to submit it on Canvas and get your extra points. All right, guys, that's it.